Hey guys, and welcome back to Battlefront Updates and some very exciting Star Wars gaming news. This is a rumor so far, so take it with a grain of salt, but it seems like we may have a new Knights of the Old Republic game on our hands pretty soon. Because according to this rumor, EA's BioWare Austin, who also developed Star Wars The Old Republic, are currently prototyping a new KOTOR game. This information comes from a gaming journalist called Liam Robertson, who discussed the topic recently on his Patreon page. And I want to give you a little bit of a background story to make sure that you understand why I think this rumor is very plausible, because this isn't just a random Reddit thread by some anonymous person. He didn't reveal his sources, but it aligns to the rumors we've had over the last couple of years from other credible sources such as Jordan Mason, who was the one who talked about the Scarif DLC before that was even announced. Liam Robertson revealed stuff about the Nintendo Switch as well as the Shadows of Mordor sequel before that was even public, so he has had a lot of leaks / rumors that has been true in the past, meaning that he is a fairly reliable source. And what he said about this was the following: I've learned now that BioWare Austin is pretty much exclusively working on Star Wars games, and they're going to be doing that for the foreseeable future. What they are currently working on right now, and I have this on good authority, is a sort of remake / revival of Knights of the Old Republic. I don't know when this is set to come out, but it has been in development for a little while now. He also added that although this game began as a Knights of the Old Republic remake, it has since transitioned into a new project. And he says, I don't really know how the game will end up. I've heard that it isn't exactly a remake anymore, but it started as a remake / revival. Now it's kind of going from that blueprint in sort of its own original thing. I guess we will see what it turns out to be, but they are prototyping right now. So it seems like this will not be a KOTOR 3 or just a remaster of the old games, but it will be a completely new take on the Star Wars universe, but that still has its roots in Knights of the Old Republic. This makes sense considering that the old Knights of the Old Republic weren't canon, so they will most likely have to adjust a lot of the story in those games to fit with the new canon to make sure that the new game would be considered canon. All this information fits very nicely with some of the recent tidbits we've had regarding Knights of the Old Republic. Jordan Mason, the editor-in-chief at Links, who I previously mentioned, who also talked about the Scarif DLC before it was announced, reported last September that a remake / remaster was in the works for Knights of the Old Republic, but that the project was put into stasis by EA after internal issues, such as the fact that they redirected a lot of the resources for the Battlefront games. So what Liam is saying here about the game being up and running again, but this time more as its own thing instead of a remaster, makes a lot of sense if EA decided to stop the development of the remaster back last year. And lastly, we also have another very interesting thing, which is the fact that Drew Karpyshyn, who is currently working at BioWare, actually responded to someone who asked him if he was working on a new game, and he said yes, but that's all I can say. Hell, I might already have said too much. He was actually the writer on the original Knights of the Old Republic game and is working at BioWare right now. So this fuels the rumor even more, and although all of this is a rumor right now, I think it's quite plausible. But something to keep in note is that a lot of games are worked on that never sees the public eyes. So although this might be true, we might not ever see the game, especially since they're just prototyping it right now according to Liam, so they might as well cancel this, or it will transition into something completely else that we might not even see as a Knights of the Old Republic game. I also want to give a big shout out to Jared from Star Wars Gaming Outpost, who I had a lot of contact with when we talked about this story, and of course Liam, who is the source for this whole story. You can find a link to Star Wars Gaming Outpost in the description below, as well as Liam's Patreon page, where he does have these kind of rumors / behind the scenes information pop up every now and then. And again, he has had a lot of accurate stuff in the past, so this isn't just something he's making up, hopefully, because we do know he has some very good sources in the gaming industry. Please let me know in the comments below what you make of this rumor, and if you think it's true, and what we could expect to see from BioWare's game. Thank you very much for watching, and as always, may the Force be with you.